What I'm drinking, what I'm drinking is considered a mineral drink. It has good minerals in here for the body. I'm rebuilding, I'm re-educating, I'm renewing, I'm reevaluating everything in me. I'm cleansing out my lungs, I'm cleansing out my kidneys, I'm cleansing out my my mind. Out with the old and in with the new, dear family. A lot of people won't ask me how was Savior's Day in Chicago. When I tell you that Savior's Day was peace over everything, the believers in God Himself were present in the building. The Messiah, the whole world, who the whole world has been looking for, was present in the building. Now, I'm going to get on this teachings this morning while I'm headed to take me a physical this morning. Oh yeah, Cousin Pete got to handle his business. Also, I'm going to file some paperwork that I have to handle business this morning. It's going to be a busy day, but I'll be all right. You know, he going way too fast when I crash in the back of that car. Slow down, varmint. So Savior's Day was amazing. Savior's Day was very educational, informative, assertive, exact, and on time. One of the things that was the highlight of Savior's Day that the minister Louis Farrakhan spoke on, he was teaching on the synagogue of Satan. And he said that the war of Armageddon had begun. He taught us that prophecy is fulfilling itself. He said that we have been duped and bamboozled to believe that scripture is talking about something that happened 2,000 years ago when it's happening right now in present time. He said the Bible is 75% of prophecy and 25% of history. But Satan reversed it and made it 75% of history and 25% of prophecy. He spoke on Jesus. Oh, man, God. He spoke on the origin of Jesus. He spoke on the nature of Jesus and his mother. He spoke on the prophecy that Jesus even said, I must go so the Comforter could come. He spoke on so many scriptures in Bible that it would blow your mind. I want to introduce you to NOI.org. NOI.org. Go listen to it yourself, dear family. Dear family, it's your cousin Pete. Go listen to it yourself and go check it out. All right? Now, he said to understand who he is, you will have to study scripture. He said that Jesus said that there will be one coming after him 2,000 plus years ago. There will be one coming after him in his name and in his spirit to do a work. So if Jesus is prophesizing that one will come after him and he must go, then the question is, when will the person come and who is the person we're looking for? Come on. He said this person will come in my spirit. So when you read the historical Jesus, He said this one will come in his spirit with his same power by the permission of God himself. He said that, damn, stay up here. He said that you will have to judge the tree by the fruit it bears. What that mean is, if a person is a thief, and you know that person is a thief, and the purse came up missing, you judge the tree by the fruit it bears. You know exactly who stole the purse. So you're looking at a work of a man. You're looking at the prophecy of a man, the engagement in people's lives. And you identify that man by his works. You have to identify that man by his works, dear family. You could determine an individual that's lazy from an individual that's assertive, because you're looking and you observing and you identify the work ethic. So when we're looking for this so-called second coming of Jesus, and Jesus saying, one will be coming after me, we have to look at the human being work. See, this is just a vessel. This body makeup is a vessel. But what is covering is the majesty of God and the Spirit of God. See, you looking for a man to come out of the clouds back on earth and ain't no oxygen out of the contraption of the planet. It's foolish to think that somebody is going to come from out of the space where there's no oxygen. Yet you were born in the image and likeness of God himself. So you have to breathe the same air, have the same lungs, have the same heart, have the same eyes, have the same feet. And everything that God has, you have. Don't scripture reveals that Moses walked with God? Well, God got feet. Don't scripture reveals that Moses talked with God? Well, God got a mouth and a tongue. Don't the scripture reveals that God had to come down from his high place to see what all the moaning and groaning was about? Talk back to me, dear family. He's a human being. Ain't nobody coming out of no clouds. The clouds have a purpose. They were created for a purpose, dear family, not for a human being to pop up out of them. Nevertheless, dear family, I gotta go get over here. Nevertheless, one is coming after Jesus, and if one doesn't come after Jesus in the same spirit of Jesus, then we could charge Jesus with being a liar. When will he come? He will come like a thief in the night. Woo! Where would he come? He will come from the east. Ain't that what scriptures say? Onto the west. Like that thief in the night. What do you mean this Son of Man, this second coming of Jesus is coming from the east onto the west like a thief in the night without observation among a people? He said, God speaking in Genesis, my people who were hit in the head, hit and driven on the westerly coast and buried like shallow bones in the grave, dead to the knowledge of self, dead to the knowledge of their God, dead to the knowledge of who they are. My people. God is talking about a particular people. He said they will be enslaved by the taskmaster. Hey, that's what I'm talking about. Everything I'm saying is coming from scripture. I hope you read it. So this taskmaster will have God's people enslaved. And what did God tell Moses? Woo! There will be a people in a strange land amongst a strange people for 400 years, and thou people who they serve, I will judge. Think on that. God had already foreseen what was going to transpire in a different land with a strange people, and they would be afflicted for 400 years. Well, you would say the people of Moses' time was in bondage to Pharaoh for 400 years. According to scripture, that is true. But when you study scripture, the scripture reveals that the people of Moses were enslaved in their land among their people and Pharaoh. Huh? Didn't God raise Moses from among the slaves to go to Pharaoh to tell Pharaoh to let my people go? You are enslaving my people, Pharaoh. You have robbed my people of the knowledge of self. Now they're savage and living a beast life, Pharaoh. You have stripped them of their name, their heritage, their culture, Pharaoh. And I'm raising one from among you as I'm all merciful to tell you to let my people go, Pharaoh. And if you don't let my people go, destruction will be at your doorstep. Ain't that what God told Moses to go tell Pharaoh? Well, God said there will be a people in a strange land, not of their own, amongst a strange people. That means a people they never seen before, an unusual people, a people the world has never encountered before. Come on, dear family. Follow me, man. And so these people will be in a land not of their own. Wasn't we brought over here from the east onto the west coast, the western hemisphere, like shallow, and we're like shallow bones in the grave, dead to the knowledge of self? You still walk in the slave master's name. That's why the scripture reveals them as the slave, the taskmaster. A task is a duty, and a master delegates the duty to a person or people. You were robbed of your name, your heritage, your culture, your religion. The Bible was turned inside out and upside down. And by the way, dear family, it's called scriptures. A scripture is a part of the writing. It's a script. A script that has to be fulfilled. A script that has to play out. Are you with me? A scripture is a part of the writing. It's not the whole writing. And guess what? The scripture that is in every church on our planet is King James Version. Who is King James, dear family? I'm going somewhere. You better listen to me and you better share this podcast because I'm fired up with my good juice. This is all minerals, all vitamin, good juice. Now, what was I at? I come back to it. Nevertheless, dear family, this people were hit in the head and driven on a western coast and buried like shallow bones in the grave by a taskmaster. And this taskmaster will have authority and power over them, according to scripture. Let's go back to Genesis. Let us make man. Listen to my words. In our likeness and of our image, and give him what? Power and dominion over the sea of the land, the fowl, the bird. Let us, God talking to a people, let us make this man And what we're going to do is we're going to get this man power. We're going to make him in the image of us and the likeness of us. And we're going to give him a protracted period of time to rule. Well, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad said that the original man, there was a man named Yakub, a black scientist that was prophesied to come in at a certain period of our history, and he will produce white out of black. This process took 600 years to produce the first white man on our planet. Take it or let it alone. Before you accuse me of being a liar, disprove what I'm saying, and I'll give you $1,000 cash app you. But if you find that I'm in truth, just share my podcast, dear family, to wake the masses of the people up. So this process took 6,000 years. Pardon me, 600 years. Remember that number 6, because Satan deals with the number 666 for a reason. It's vital information behind and wisdom behind the number 6. So God said, let us make man in our likeness and of our image and give him power. Then he said that this man, the first man was Adam. I'm sorry to tell you, dear family, but King James was a white man that was a slave owner. Can you believe it? The same Bible. Do you think a man that didn't treat you right is going to teach you right, dear family? Don't you know to enslave a people, you have to control the narrative? It's like controlling a woman. How do men that lack the respect of a woman control a woman? They lie, manipulate, and deceive, and the woman believes. That's what happens, dear family. So, this man was given power for a protracted period of time. And he was to carry out his mission for 6,000 years. This is why the 600 years he was born, 6,000 years he was given to be the ruler over the original black man and black woman and people of the nations. So King James is the one who revised scripture. See, you believe when you die, you go into a heaven or some place in the sky where there's gold and honey and all this foolish talk. In order to understand the nature of God, you have to really understand who you are. You are a human being. Not only are you a human being, you are created in the likeness and image of God. Damn, man. So God teaches life and death is a state of mind, a state of being, and a state of condition. Because if you physically die, dear family, we're going to make some common sense today. Because my grandfather used to say, you got sense, but you don't use your common sense. We've been bamboozled by a taskmaster, and we don't even know it. We walk in these slave names, and this is why it teaches if you have the mark of the beast, you go down with the beast. Who is the beast? I'm going to get on that shortly, dear family. I'm on one this morning. I got my mineral drink and my vitamin drink, and it tastes good. So, this individual, life and death could be a state of mind, a state of being, and a state of condition. Heaven and hell is a state of mind, a state of being, and a state of condition. Because when you're broke with no money, you're mad as hell. When you outside and it's as cold as it's been, You cold as hell. When things ain't going right and it feel like the world and your circumstances is getting the best of you, you mad as hell. It's a state of mind. Heaven means peace. This is why Jesus said, as it is in the heavens, look up. As it is in the heavens, so shall it be on the earth. What that mean, dear family, is heaven represents peace. What you see is you see the moon, the stars, and the sun, all in obedience to the nature in which they were created. The sun ain't arguing with the moon, and the moon ain't arguing with the stars, and the stars don't care nothing about the other planets. It's doing what its purpose is and being obedient to God's will. The sun come up and down, the moons, sometimes you see the moon, sometimes you don't. Where did the moon go? Where did the sun go? I teach that shortly, dear family. But it's all on a law and obedient to the will of God. So as it is in the heavens, what you see in the heavens is peace. Ain't nobody fighting. Ain't nobody arguing. Ain't nobody gossiping and backstabbing and setting up to get robbed and talking bad about back. You know, the moon ain't doing that to the stars. The stars ain't saying, look at the moon. He ain't cool. He a sucker. He this, he that. Look at the stars. Look at them stars. Them stars. I'ma steal stars from the other stars. Hateful birds. No, they ain't obedient and in harmony with one another. So as it is in the heavens, dear family, Jesus says, so shall it be on earth. Peace, obedient, harmony with one. But before this happens, there was a prophecy that had to be fulfilled because a taskmaster was made out of the original man and the original woman. Let's go back to Genesis. Let us make. See, the make is the manufacture something. He didn't say let us create. He said let us make. See, the black man is created out of the essence. All other races are made from what was in the original black man. They were made. I prove my point. So here you have Adam and Eve, dear family. They say it's the first people on our planet, which is a lie. I know y'all ain't studying that Bible. I know you ain't studying that Bible. I know you ain't studying the Bible. Because God told Adam, surely when you eat from this tree, you will surely die. God gave Adam instructions not to eat from a tree. In this tree, according to the scripture, the apple represented knowledge. Go back and study. But Eve convinced Adam it was good to eat from the tree. Look at that. Look at that woman. Look at that woman. She going against and whispering like a slinking devil. So Adam decided to eat from the apple. And that God said, when you eat from the apple, you will surely die. What happened to Adam in scripture? You know what happened to Adam in scripture? He opened up his eyes according to scripture and he started to lust after lower desires. See, when you open eyes, you're able to see things that you've never seen before. And God wanted him to be in obedient to his will and obey him. And the minute he disobeyed him, he died lusting after lower desires. And this is why it says from Adam, every sin known to man has entered into the world. You know why? Because we all in disobedient to the nature of ourselves, which is God himself. And so when you're in obedience to God, it represents death. When you're in obedience to God's will, it represents life. This is why we talk about righteousness. righteousness. Obedience represents righteousness. Disobedience represents death. We always want to smoke, killing ourselves, drink, killing ourselves, doing all these things to kill ourselves. Because we out of tune what the reality of God, who the reality of God is. We out of tune. Excuse me. And so we're dying a slow death. Organs is failing. Heart is failing. Sores over our body. Teeth rotting. Nose clogged up. Mucus this, mucus that. Sickness, high blood pressure. Because we're not in obedient to the nature of this vessel. We're in disobedient to it. So we're dying a slow death. And this is what it means when it says life and death is a state of mind, a state of being, and a state of condition. So a taskmaster was raised from among us. And he would do bodily harm, physical harm, mentally harm to us for 400 plus years. Was the prophecy fulfilled? What is your name? Are you in a strange land amongst a strange people that's caused nothing but bloodshed and mischief? The scripture call him a bloodsucker. The scripture call him a bloodsucker. So understand, dear family, what life and death is disobedience versus obedience. Because when Adam ate from the apple, he didn't die physically, did he? No, the scripture reveals that he hid in the Garden of Eve, ashamed. The Bible said he was ashamed of his nakedness. Nakedness only represents being ashamed. And he heard God's footsteps coming through the garden to see what Adam had done. So God had to walk over there. Oh, God got feet again. I keep telling you that God is a human being. But we've been bamboozled, as Malcolm would say, by the taskmaster that was set to rule for 6,000 years, according to scripture. Everything I done said then came out of scripture. I'm going to tell you who the Elijah Muhammad and Minister Louis Farrakhan is shortly, dear family. So God seen that Adam had disobeyed his direct order. And he died mentally, morally, spiritually, principally. He died. We all die like that. We all fall short of the glory of God. Lusting after low desires. Doing things that is out of the nature of ourselves. And so the body will tell you when you have done something wrong. It start to ache on you. It start to pain on you. You will see your face deteriorating, your face drooping. You will see bumps. You will see lumps. You will see conditions. You will have to go to the doctor because we have been in disobedient to the nature of this vessel. So the body is dying a slow death. So this taskmaster, as God told Moses, there will be a people in a strange land amongst a strange people for 400 years. And Jesus said, there's one coming after me in my name and in my spirit. So how do we know who he is and what he looked like? See, you so fixated on the white Jesus that they have in every church, you forgetting about who Jesus was, a black man. And Jesus said that I proceed forth from the Father. And there's one coming after me in my spirit. Well, that's a black man. with the same heart, the same mind, the same principles, the same value, the same obedience to the Father. But he had instructions and an assignment to resurrect the dead. Oh, come on, talk back to me, dear family. Y'all ain't even hearing me right now. Hold on, let me plug my phone up or die on me. Y'all ain't even hearing me right now, man. Good Lord, y'all ain't hear me. This Jesus that is to come has an assignment. This second coming of Jesus has an assignment to resurrect the dead. What dead is Cousin P referring to? I'm referring to the dead of the knowledge of self. Remember what God said. My people will be hit in the head and buried like shallow bones in the grave, dead to the what? Knowledge of themselves. So one will come like Moses. Not only will one come like Moses, one will come with the spirit of Jesus. That's two people. Come on, man. Talk back to me. What fired up this morning? Hey, Cousin P fired up this morning. One will come in my name, Jesus, and in my spirit in truth. So God told Moses, there will be one like you in the last days. When do you know when the last days is? Oh. He says surety. God sends and raises one from among the people to teach that people who have went astray. He said, the Holy Quran says that God raises one that speaks the same languages as you to teach you. He can't send you a Russian person to come teach an English person nothing. He can't send a Chinese man to come teach a man in America nothing. So he said, I will raise one from among the brethren. And that man will be one like Moses. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad was born like Moses was, sharing crop sharing, slavery. But he said God visited Moses. God visited Moses. When the Honorable Elijah Muhammad taught us, he said that God visited America and taught me for 3 years and 4 months. Wait a minute, Cousin P. How God gonna come to America and teach a man, teach him? That ain't happened. Do you think that God doesn't know that a people were hit in the head and buried, a whole people enslaved? And you think God ain't gonna come raise one from among that people? As we could charge Jesus with being a bald-faced liar. We could charge Moses with being a bald-faced liar. Do you think that God don't hear the moaning and groaning of the people? And he said, I must come down from my high place to see what all the moaning and groaning is about. And he see nothing but destruction, bloodshed, and slavery. And you think he's not going to judge that country? Well, if he doesn't judge this country, he will have to apologize to every man and woman that he destroyed during the Sodom and Gomorrah days. He's a just God. Ain't that what the scriptures say? So you think that he don't see this taskmaster that enslaved the people, destroyed nations, killing us with the water, killing us with the air, killing us with the food? You think that he wasn't going to come? What scriptures say? The Son of Man will come from the east onto the west. I'm going to have my scriptures up when I get to the palace so y'all can bear witness to what I'm talking about. And that Son of Man will raise one from among thee. What Jesus, who did Jesus say look for in Matthew 17? He said one will come in my name and in my spirit and in truth. I must go. Then God said, Moses, there will be one like you in the last days. Oh my God, man. I'm hoping y'all listening to this, man. Because God got me on one. So, the Son of Man, Jesus said, Elijah must come, will come to restore all things new. Somebody named Elijah has to come, or we gonna dismiss Jesus. See, the pastor don't teach this because he don't want to submit to God revealing the hidden truths to Elijah. Well, how do I know that's the Elijah that God revealed the hidden truths to? Judge the tree by the fruit it bears. I feel alive. I know my name ain't no slave name now. I know the origin of who I am. I know the earth weighs 6 sextillion tons, followed by 21 ciphers. I know it's 196,940,000 square miles of the planet Earth. I know the moon was once part of the earth. I know that there's people on other planets. I know about the so-called UFOs. I know how much land and water is on the planet. I know the origin of the white man in all races. We were taught actual facts. I know the history of the sun, the history of the moon, the history of the body, and the history of God himself. Talk back to me, dear family. I'm fired up right now. A man came and gave us the knowledge of self. The man came and put things in perspective. The man came and made the deaf hear, the dumb understand, the blind see. Damn, I told you that soy in wheat causes cancer. I told you that red 40 dye, which is in Skittles and all juices, red 40 dye, blue dye, 6 dye, yellow 5, yellow 6, all are ingredients that produce cancer. Cancer is a made up disease. But you ain't even listening to your cousin Pete. Because you think I'm a rapper. I ain't no damn rapper. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad said, speak to the people. Speak their language. So I come with the rap. Because in every song that I speak, you hear me say the black man is God. You hear me say something about the wisdom. I'm talking to you in your language. But you don't see it. Dear family is your cousin Pete. I close with this. Because I could keep going. I got business to handle this moment. Let me drink my num juice. Now, listen. Elijah Muhammad came. He said that he was taught by God himself for 3 years and 4 months. The scripture reveals that the Son of Man will be in the belly of the beast for 3 days. 3 days. This Son of Man is coming from the east to the west, which is the God of our times. Take it or let it alone. He will raise somebody named Elijah. Go read your scripture, because there was an Elisha and there was an Elijah. He will raise this man, and this man will be like Jesus. He will be like Moses. He will be them all wrapped in one. And he said, Moses said, my tongue is stammering. Go read what Moses said to God. Can you raise one from among me that tongue could speak elegantly? This is in scripture. It's before your eyes, brother. Malcolm X. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad raised Malcolm X. And may Allah be pleased with what he done for the time with the most Honorable Elijah Muhammad, which is who God raised. But Malcolm X didn't stay in the classroom long to get the knowledge that he needed to understand more than what he knew from his teacher. And so when he was put out of the mosque for a protracted period of time, he took a trip to Mecca, and he realized that the Honorable Elijah Muhammad and what the Honorable Elijah Muhammad revealed was indeed, in fact, the truth, but the CIA would not allow them to connect again. So they intercepted all Malcolm's letters. Don't you know that Malcolm's foundation and daughter and wife is suing the United States of America for Malcolm X's assassination? Go Google it so you can bear witness to the truth. But scripture reveals that one will come against Elijah, as Moses and Joshua and Aaron. Remember, Aaron deviated against Moses. So Elijah asked for one with the elegantly tongue, because the Honorable Elijah Muhammad spoke with a stammering tongue. When you go Google Elijah Muhammad speaking, you will hear the stammering tongue. Prophecy is being fulfilled, dear family. But if you listen to, I'm drinking this mineral drink, and what it does is it gets all the mucus out of you. Oh man, y'all should buy this drink. Anyway, God promised Moses a helper with an elegantly tongue. I want to ask you a question, dear family. Have you heard the minister speak? How does he sound to you? Is he in truth? Does he speak with an elegant tongue? Is that the only black man that speaks truth to power? Because I don't know another black man on our planet. Name one. Name one black man on the planet. Better yet, let's start with America. That's as powerful, as obedient to the will of God in America. Name one. Matter of fact, name one that's powerful than the minister. You talking about T.D. Jakes? You know he not powerful than the minister Louis Farrakhan. We know what weight look like. And we know no figure in America hold more weight and truth than the minister Louis Farrakhan. Let me go a little deeper and I'll close. The minister Louis Farrakhan at Savior's Day, Chicago, may Allah bless those who came and those who watched and those who couldn't unfortunately be there. With prosperity, guidance, and understanding. Minister Farrakhan said it. Won't you go study scripture so you could know who I am? It's there in the book. He said, to identify who I am, look at my enemies, for you judge a person by his enemies. Who Jesus' enemies was. Who controlled the planet? Who controlled the banks? Who controlled everything? Who was Jesus' enemy? According to scripture, who killed Jesus? I'm going to let you go study that. So he said, you judge me by my enemies. They talk bad about me. And they hide me from the world and the public. Just as they did Jesus. But Jesus said there will be one coming in my name in my spirit and in my truth. And have my same fight. Woo. You will know who the minister Louis Farrakhan is when you study. With that said, dear family, I want to appreciate everybody for listening this morning. Hey, I had a lot to say, and I hope you got the message. Please share it. It's your cousin, Cutting P. Part 2 tonight is going down.